I do agree that there is stigma that I have to deal with because I am fat, but I'm actually really in celebration of my body. I find beauty in diversity.
She's celebrating.
I think we come in all shapes and sizes. And the assumption that we've dealt with a lot on this show is that just because you're obese, you must overeat. You must have an eating disorder. I know that not
usually
to be the
linked
case. I know
to
you
it.
can have a healthy
Usually linked
now,
to
Mimi,
it.
you say this is misleading. Go have at it a little bit.
Take a look at that lady there,
I
too,
certainly
folks.
think that we all want to feel good about ourselves. That's understandable. I don't think people should feel demeaned by their size.
Definitely
And
not.
I also couldn't
Absolutely
agree
true.
more with the message of daily exercise.
Yes.
No matter what size you are, you'll certainly benefit from daily exercise. You can't be healthy without that. But then let's talk about where we disagree. Look, if you want to feel good about yourself, it's impossible to feel good about yourself when you're doing something that's self-destructive. Also, self-destructive behaviors that result in damage or debilitation or even disfigurement to the body, that's never going to be perceived as beautiful.
So true.
The thing is that I think that...
Take a look, folks, at this here. Take a look. I want you to just take a look at this. I want to rewind it back right to here. And let's see this. So you see this lady here, obviously. She's into the body positivity image, I guess, group. And she can hardly sit on that chair that they gave her. She needs to steady herself with her foot on the floor. This is not somebody who is just a little bit overweight or a little marginally obese. This is, this is morbidly obese. And she may think that it's perfectly fine. But this is a severe healthy, non-healthy medical condition, folks. That's, you should not be trying to parlay this into some body positivity, diversity, inclusion, equality, mantra. But that's exactly what these people do.
Self-destructive. Also, self-destructive behaviors that result in damage or debilitation or even disfigurement to the body, that's never going to be perceived as beautiful.
The thing is that I think that the HAES approach, the health at every size approach, has been documented.
That's just
to
BS.
work.
It's not documented to work.
Year
No.
after year.
What do you mean work? What do you mean work? Because a health at every size is a lie. If you starve yourself into damage, that's unhealthy. Or if you eat yourself into damage, that's not healthy.
You're making a lot of assumptions.
That's just not
medical
that's not
assumptions,
true.
scientific
That's
assumptions.
like saying
about
that.
weight
Let's
being
say you were a smoker.
self-destructive.
Let's say you're a smoker and have black lungs, and you try to say that's healthy because you don't have cancer yet. We know that it is actually factual that obesity is dangerous, and it's connected to cancer, stroke, Alzheimer's.
Heart
we
disease,
even know it's connected
cardiovascular
to
disease,
an increase in birth defects.
bone
so there's nothing
disease.
left to debate.
Mimi?
It's not beautiful. It's not healthy.
Well, $15 an hour, first of all, as we said, it's not enough of a wage, but it is a substantial improvement, and this is what workers have put forward. Fast food workers themselves courageously took their lives into their own hands.
Oh, they
walked
took their
out of
lives
jobs
into their
in a
own
one-day
hands?
strike in New
They
York
took
City
their courageously
and
their lives
demanded
into their own
$15
hands?
an hour. And that is the first step, because the economy is not going to remain static. We have to fight for affordable housing. We have to fight for better services in terms of mass transit, education, healthcare, and that is why we have to also talk about taxing the super wealthy and big corporations.
Oh boy, there we go again. Mass transportation. You're in New York City there, honey. Okay, how much more mass transportation do you want? And this whole mantra again, tax the uber wealthy, tax the super rich. They're the evil people. They're the evil, greedy bastards. Go after them. They've got your $15 an hour. Oh, I love the fact that they courageously took their lives into their own hands, taking a day off. Wow. What were they going to happen if they... Were they going to be sent to the gulag?
Well, of course, one government policy leads to the next. If you raise the minimum wage, then it's going to raise the rents. When it raises the rents, you're going to have to build affordable housing. When you have to build affordable housing, you have to tax people to build the affordable housing. When you tax people to build the affordable housing, people move out of the city, and you have to raise taxes on the people who remain in the city, and this is how you hollow out the economy of a major metropolitan area in the United States.
Take a look at San Francisco. Take a look at Detroit. Take a look at Baltimore.
There's a
there's a very thick line between
apologized now,
being
by the way.
politically incorrect and being racist. And words matter. So when a community of people that has been perpetually marginalized at institutions across America over history feels offended, we should acknowledge that. And I think that these protests are a reflection of a community of minorities that feel unacknowledged and not respected. And so, Ben, I read your article today, and I was shocked by the language you used.
Shocked by the language.
You were saying that it's time for the right
call the police
to
right now.
fight. Yeah. No, but you read his column.
Evidence. All
There
this
you
is
go.
screaming and feelings. How about like a shred of evidence, even for the incidents
There
that
is
actually
evidence.
happened?
There's
It
no
was really
evidence
that
here,
drove this-
honey.
Really. Where was the police report exactly when it came to, for example, the first N-word incident that led all of this? There was
Never
no police
happened.
report on any of that. In the second incident, at the N-word at the University of Missouri, the administration
They're
investigated,
investigating.
and the kid's under investigation. In the third incident with the cop car, with the car hitting the
let me
guy.
just ask you this, because we're short on time. You tell me, Namiki, whether we are training these kids to be little cupcakes who never have to encounter
Snowflakes.
anything offensive. Assuming everything you said is offensive, they never have to encounter it because they can call the cops or they can get their administrators fired, or whether it's better to educate them that there are offensive things in life, there are insulting things in life, there are people who will say very incorrect or impolite things about you,
Yes.
politically incorrect things about you, very
Live
publicly,
with it.
and in a way that you might feel very offended by, and you have to deal with that in life.
I think
you have
people
to deal with it.
understand that, but I think that, this is a blame the victim situation.
They don't understand that, Namiki. They don't understand that. They've been raised completely different by people like you, elitist, leftist, polish. They're out there polishing your halo before you go out every day. Put your big E, T-shirt on, your elitist shirt on, and you tell these millennials and Gen Zers that everybody else is their problem. It's not them. They can't talk to you that way. You can't be offended by a word, by a look, by a gesture, by a mere glance. If those offend you, you have every right to call the police. You have every right to take them to court. You have every right to sue them. You have every right to cancel them. You have every right to get them fired. This is the society that you want to raise among our youngsters. Can you imagine if the great-grandparents and great-grandparents and grandparents had raised their kids this way in the 40s, in the 50s, when we were fighting all the isms around the world? Oh my goodness, where would our world have been if the youth of today had been the youth of yesterday?
Situation, we should be ridding the world of bigotry. We should be talking about that rather than blaming it on the victim who feels hurt, disrespected on campus, who doesn't feel heard by their administrators.
I love that utopia. It doesn't exist. It's not realistic. It does not exist. Good luck getting rid of all the bigotry.
Yeah, good luck. Good luck.
We're just going to wipe the world. We'd love to, but it's not reality.
They literally just fired a white guy for being a white guy, and
it's a delusion,
Namiki. I gotta go.
Not
true. Great debate. Thank you both for
not true.
And they're Can you explain to me why in Chicago during Father's Day weekend, 13 people were killed, 53 were injured by guns when they have some of the strongest gun laws in America? Can you explain that to me?
They don't have strong gun laws in America because any idiot can buy a gun.
In Chicago, they do.
Any idiot can buy a gun from a gun show or on the internet, and there are no background.
Yeah,
as well when
it's their legal right.
Not if you have background checks, and not if
we
you
have background checks, sir. We have background checks.
This is precisely why you and the Libertarian Party in Canada and the Libertarian Party in America have no credibility. You are completely disregarded as a political force.
These are personal attacks, sir.
That's not the reason that they're disregarded.
There's a group of women that were here, and they're wishing to withdraw consent to use the footage that you had, I guess, gotten. So can you please make sure that is done and make sure that any of the stuff that they have...
We may or we may not use the footage. It is a public area, so we do have legal rights to use the footage.
But you, interviewed them specifically, right? So,
Yes, and they gave us consent to interview them.
Well, now they're withdrawing it, so...
Hey, they can't do that.
Which is interesting given the event that you're at, right? That's a little bit contradictory.
What do you mean it's a little bit contradictory?
Well, if
I totally say that's not how it works. Well, you can't just withdraw consent the next, like.
Well, that's interesting.
Why is that
That's interesting.
No. Tell me.
Like a rally for like rapists, consent and like withdrawing consent, saying like no means no. They're saying no, and you're saying that like.
Okay, so if someone gives consent the night before, and then they have listen. If they have sex with a man and they give consent to him, then the next day decide, oh, I regret it. I'm going to report him for being a rapist, even though I gave him consent. You're saying that's okay?
So you're sounding a little bit like a 12-year-old because it's.
Is it on? Okay. I want to get paid the same as a man, and I think you understand that. So, if you become president, will a woman make the same as a man, and do I get to choose what I do with my body?
Wow, whoop-de-doo! Whoa! The Supergirl pose, folks. The stupid girl pose.
You're going to make the same if you do as good a job.
Bingo!
Yeah, I was going to say that I feel like it's incredibly patronizing for you to paint these questions this way, especially as a white man. I don't expect you to be able to understand what people of color are actually saying
word, folks.
with regards to cancel Colbert. He has a history of making jokes.
Sorry, being a white man doesn't prevent me from being able to think and doesn't prevent me from being able to have reasoned perspectives on things. I didn't give up my right to be able to have an intellectual conversation when I was born.
I know, but well, white men definitely feel like they're entitled to talk over me. They definitely feel like they're entitled to kind of minimalize my experiences, and they definitely feel like they are somehow
if your experiences are kind of, stupid, then yes.
Right?
No one's minimalizing your experiences. No one's minimalizing your right to have an opinion. It's just a stupid opinion. I mean, it's a misunderstanding of what
you
satire
just called
is.
my opinion stupid.
Well, it was
stupid. You just called my opinion stupid. That's incredibly unproductive, and I don't think I'm going to enact the labor of having to explain to you.
Enact the labor? What are you having, a baby?
Patronizing.
Explain.
I just told you I wouldn't enact that labor.
Okay.
She's not going to enact that labor.
You've restarted, let me just stop you so you don't waste a line of questioning. I'm just giving you...
I love the mansplaining. I'm enjoying it.
You're loving what?
The mansplaining that's going on.
What
well, just talking me through how
because you can't understand anything, honey.
What do you
can't comprehend the stuff.
Which are not related to the question that I've asked.
What's mansplaining, Senator?
Well, it's the slightly patronising and condescending way that you're responding to my questions.
Well, I would suggest, Senator, that if you're putting the word man in front of some
here it
description of
comes.
what I'm doing, you're doing that which I'm sure you're very much against, is making a sexist implication about how I'm conducting my role as a man.
Well, then the easiest way to do it...
Is that what you're saying, Senator?
Well, what I'm saying is that the way you've been responding to me has been patronising and condescending, and I have responded to that. So the easiest way to deal with this is not to have that way in responding to the questions I've asked.
Imagine the reaction, Senator, if I said you were woman-splaining.
You're
saying that I'm mansplaining.
Well, it is a term that's used.
Is it by whom?
Well, it is a term that's used.
By rude
doesn't make
by rude senators. By senators who are seeking to make.
Man, this senator, she just walked right into that one, folks. And the gentleman who was there testifying just literally took her apart. I mean, literally just filleted her verbally, folks. It was an unbelievable way to turn it around. She thought she was going to get him with being patronizing and the misogyny and the patriarchy by taking out the M word from the political card deck and throwing it on the table and saying, gotcha, you're mansplaining me. And what'd he do? He reached into the political card deck and took out the W and said, womansplaining. What about that? That trumps it. Oh, that was just great to watch, folks. Because she knew as soon as he said that, you could just tell in the body language. She knew that she had walked into that herself, that she set the trap herself, she baited the trap herself, and she herself fell into her own trap. Gorgeous, gorgeous, beautiful, amazing. Mwah. Way to go, whoever that gentleman was. Kudos to you, mate. Anyways, you've been watching the Dr. Nasir Shaikh Show. I've been your host, Dr. Nasir. If you've been done so already, we'd love for you to subscribe to the channel, like, share, and follow us. You all know what to do. Take a look at our video content above and below. Comment, share your likes or dislikes, and I'll leave you with my final thought, which is, when you're right, you're right, and when you're left, you're wrong. Until next time, folks, take care and stay safe.